So, starting my last day, and there's still so much to do. Honestly, if you look through these cages and you see so many dogs, I really don't know what to do first. I mean, there's a lot of things to repair, to clean, like the bowls, for example, and the buckets. Usually, the city workers are feeding them twice a day. So, that is something we do not have to do. But still, you need to promote all these dogs. And the best thing would be if you really go into the cage and interact with them. Then you can really have a better description. So, after going through the cages, taking some pictures, of course, check in on all the mommies. Unfortunately, there are so many dogs um, in the shelter that just had their puppies. You probably remember her from the first and the second video. Five of her puppies survived, and she's taken really, really good care of them. Of course, I have to go into one of the cages and snuggle with all these bit older puppies. They're all between 2.5 and 3 months old. So it's puppy heaven, honestly, not for them. Of course, they're in a shelter, but they're just so adorable. I mean, look at them. They're so cute. This one right here that you can see in the back actually is quite skinny, so we took him out, made sure he's fine. Then we have one mommy with her puppies in the vet room. Unfortunately, there are no more cages available because you need to keep them separate to make sure no other dog is attacking the babies. But there are just no more cages. So we put her in the vet room. Unfortunately, she has to sit now in this tiny cage, but there's no other way. And going back out, checking on the bigger puppies, they just are getting their food. You see how many there are. And now imagine growing up. I mean, they're all going to have quite a size. Most of them probably be medium size. The smaller dogs are really rare. Yeah, it's still a lot of space they'll take up. And now look at this. This is at the back of the shelter. It's a big pool of everything that comes from the drainage actually. The problem is that I told you about the bedding in the first video. This is what happens if we put straw in there in winter. It clogs up the pipes. So we need to get it drained. Costs a lot of money, which we actually don't have. But anyway, then I'm checking on the other mummy that we called Fee. She is so adorable. Of course, she's worried, like, hey, what are you doing with my babies? Okay, check, check. Baby's fine. You're not doing nothing. Okay, so she sat right next to me, watched me, of course, closely, but look how fragile they are. How adorable, those tiny little babies. And thinking about 3 months' time, we need to find them a home. By then, they can get vaccinated, a health check done, and they can be separated from their mom, not earlier, and then they can travel. So after they have the rabies shot, they can actually go travel. So we need to make sure they will travel, because if they grow up in here, you see it's really loud. It's just not a place to grow up in. Yeah, so still a lot to do, but look at those tiny little feet. I mean, they still have their eyes closed. That's how little they are. And excuse my horrible looking hands with the doggy bite on there. But yeah, it is what it is. Look at them. Aren't they cute? Look at those little paws. Oh, I'm still amazed how little they are. So adorable. And how fragile. Look at that. Mm, you're so cute. So that was really amazing, an amazing experience to see them. Also, of course, quite sad because they're in the shelter, but we are their hope. So we have to work hard to find them homes. We have to work hard to raise the money, to have the food available for all these dogs and make sure they're fine. We have to raise funds for the medical treatments and such. So that actually gives me motivation to make sure all of them, not just the puppies, of course, but all of them have the necessary funds and, of course, are being promoted to find really good homes. And of course, we do home checks. So we're not just handing out dogs to anyone, but we're doing home checks and make sure That's really a suitable home for those cute little babies. Now going to check on the little bit older puppies. You see the mom is really scared, and I don't want that happening to the babies, that they grow up being scared of humans, because there's very limited human interaction. And then as I turn around, here goes Flappy again. Always the same spot, always looking around, every single time, watching me closely. She found a home now, so I'm happy about that. At least she's out. And then look at those. I mean, this is just so sad to see. You see the orange ear tags? That means they've been there for years, because they don't apply those anymore, meaning they have to be there for a minimum of 5 years already. So 5 years in those tiny little cages. And then before I leave, of course, I have to say goodbye to this little man I fell in love with, my little Grammy. He's just the cutest ever. He looks so rough, and I think that's the reason why he's not finding a home. I think if someone really takes the time to care for him and wash him, brush him, he'll be so amazing. He already is, but people just don't see it. They don't see through the dirt and the funny looking fur, but he's just great. Anyway, it's time to leave, and honestly, your heart is heavy. I have now 2 hours to think about what's happening, what has happened, what I have to do. I'm taking home, of course, a nice bite and a nice sunburn. Look at that funny shape. I don't know how that could have happened, because I'm usually really careful. On the other hand, they're waiting for me, so I'm happy about my crew at home to see them again. But I'll be back. There's still so much to do, so don't forget to subscribe.